All right, I think I found a mic that works. What a start. We seem to be having an issue here, and I don't know what the issue is with the main microphone, so we will just use this other microphone for now. Good morning to you, and welcome, welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show. Let's hope it stays that way. And we are brought to you by the folks at Westside Decorating Center, 5789 State Street in Saginaw. And they have everything you need for home decorating. And on this Friday morning, a number of things happening after the 10 o'clock news. We're going to do a little prediction show. Got two big-time games coming up this weekend for Michigan. The Tigers are at the Mariners tonight. And the Lions take on Kansas City Sunday Night Football. So at 10 o'clock this morning, we'll ask for predictions. And at 11 o'clock, we'll learn about the HBA Great Lakes Bay region. But for this hour, we're going to spend some time talking music with a guest who's been with us many times in the past. He is the musical director and conductor of the Bay Concert Band. And we say good morning, hopefully, to Nathan Snyder.
Morning,
Good
Art.
morning, Nate.
Good morning, Art. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. Let's hope I can stay with you.
Seems like it's working right now.
Well, it is because we're using something different. But I do not know why the main microphone. Oh, now it's working. It's going to be one of those days. You know, we all have them. So, Bay Concert Band, is it fair to say that the fall is the beginning of your new season?
Yes, the fall is always the beginning of our new season. When we get started after Labor Day, that's when we celebrate our new season. So this is the start of our 49th season as a concert band.
49.
49.
Wow.
That means next year is 50.
That's you sure about that now?
I am. We counted a lot. The whole board members all sat around and counted several times to make sure we got the seasons correct so that we were celebrating our 50th next season in the right time.
That's funny. That is funny. So when is the first concert?
So the first concert is Tuesday, October the 21st. It's going to be at 7:30 p.m. at Bay City Central Auditorium.
That's home for you, isn't it?
That is our home. Yeah, we rehearse there, and we do our concerts there. We have a great relationship there. The band director, Christy Keenan, is wonderful. She works with us, lets us borrow their percussion equipment, use their chairs and stands and everything. Yes. So it's been a very good relationship that the band has had with the school. We often welcome members from the high school band, some of their advanced members that are older, to come in and play with us. So it's been it's a great experience for them. It lets them know that there's life beyond high school music, and they can tell their friends and hopefully bring some of them to the concerts and that kind of stuff. So,
all right. So, what kind of program do we start the season with?
So we start the season with what I think is a really nice mix of new and old music. The first half is what we would call our more traditional concert band works. So we have a brand new piece of music to kick us off by Dwayne Milburn called Centennial Celebration Overture. Dwayne is a retired lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army bands, and he wrote this great piece in honor of a friend of his, Hal Gibson. And it actually uses, so the name Gibson has...
Like the guitar Gibson?
Kind of, yes, that name. It has... letters that are used in the musical alphabet. So he took some of the letters from his name to create the melody that goes throughout the piece, which is a nice tribute. And then after that, we have another fairly new work titled Elegy, which was written during the pandemic by composer Catherine Selfelder. It's kind of a reaction to what happened during the pandemic, how life and the earth is still going.
And life after.
You look outside and you say, well, it's a beautiful day, but you don't necessarily feel that great on the inside because of what was happening. So it's kind of her reaction to that time.
That's
got to
be a mood-changing piece of music, because
it really is.
we all had different moods at different times.
Yeah, and it's reflected in the piece. There's times where the mood is very somber, and then there's times where the mood gets very agitated and almost angry, like I just don't understand what's going on. And then there's times where it's very lighthearted.
It's the way it was.
Yeah, and it so I think the piece kind of mimics some of the confusion we felt, where some days we were like, oh, it's nice, I'm home and I'm with my family and this is nice, and other days we're like, oh, everything is just terrible right now. So but a nice way to kind of honor that memory in our lives.
And for those at home, I got my microphone working again.
Yay! You look much more comfortable now.
Much more comfortable. Yeah, I can lay back. Normally, folks at home, I don't talk into the microphone. I have a headset mic, and that's what I use. But it didn't work this morning. That whole channel was out. But that's life. I mean, it's what happens. It doesn't happen in real music because you're playing instruments, and they rarely fail.
I don't know. Sometimes they do.
Rarely. I said rarely.
I have some good stories about failing instruments in concerts.
I imagine that's probably true. So what else is on the program?
So the rest of the first half includes a Spanish flamenco piece that's fairly new. The composer, Michelle Fernandez, wrote it in honor of her grandmother, who passed at a fairly young age from cancer, but she was a flamenco dancer in Spain. And so she wrote this piece in honor of her. It's a really fun piece. It has a lot of, as you could say, Spanish flair to it. But it's a really fun piece for the band to play.
Yeah, I love flamenco flavor.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite group outside of the rock and roll world. Rock and roll, it's Queen for me.
Okay.
But my favorite music, and I still don't know, I watched them over and over and over again, I don't know how they keep the beat. The Miami Sound Machine, Gloria Estefan.
Yeah.
If they're on, I'm there.
Yep.
I mean, they're just, that beat is so infectious.
Yep. It really is.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing.
And then we have two more pieces. One more piece in the first half. The last one is by a Chinese composer, but he actually used Japanese folk songs. Yeah, I know, it's a little confusing.
Okay.
But it's a 3-movement work, and they're like children's songs. So they kind of vary between the first and the third one are very playful and fun and bouncy, and the middle one is more like a lullaby, almost like a parent would sing to their child.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but it's a really nice work. Enjoy it very much.
All right, we'll get to the second half and then more with Nathan Snyder from the Bay Concert Band. But again, 21st is the concert, and we'll tell you more about it as we go on. Let's see if we can give away a little money right now.
Keep you safe.
Thanks, John. Stop into Quick Lane Freeland today. Have your tires checked, and while you're there, you might have your cooling system checked too, because make sure it's ready for the cold weather. And McDonald Ford has all the new Ford models for you and a range of quality pre-owned vehicles for any budget. Quick Lane and McDonald Ford, two names that stand ready to serve all your automotive needs. And remember, you can buy your tires at any time, including your winter tires, for just $5 over cost at McDonald Ford. All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. In studio with me, Nathan Snyder. He's the conductor, music director of the Bay Concert Band, and they have their first of the season concert coming up October 21st. And we went through the first half, so let's take a look at the second half of the program.
Okay, so if we say that the first half of the program is your more traditional concert band music, the second half is kind of the fun half, or stuff that's...
Are you saying traditional band music isn't fun?
Well, I'm not saying it's not fun.
Good.
That came out wrong. I didn't mean it that way.
I know.
I think it's very fun. That's why I love it. But yeah, so the second half, actually, we start off with a little bit of a Michigan connection. Composer Jim Kernow He wrote a short fanfare, just a couple minutes in length, but he is originally from Port Huron, Michigan, and he did his studies at Wayne State and Michigan State. So he's got a local connection. He ended up working in Illinois and then settled down in Kentucky, where he had his publishing company and things like that. But so he wrote this fun fanfare that we get started, high energy, get us kicked off for the second half. Then we move into some movie music. We actually have a couple movie pieces on the second half. So we're going to play music from Jurassic Park, but we're going old school, back to the original Jurassic Park.
Oh,
so
okay.
the music from the very first movie that came out back in the 90s, the two main themes that everybody's very familiar with by John Williams. And then we actually get a second Spanish-flavored piece on this concert. We're doing Malagueña.
Oh, I love Malagueña.
I knew that one would get a reaction from you. Yep, and it's really great. I don't know how many people know this, maybe not even members of the band, but it started out just as a piano piece. It was part of a suite that Ernesto Lecuona created. But I think most people know it in its more popular form, originally from the Stan Kenton Band, the really hot jazz Latin fusion version that you got from the Stan Kenton Band.
And if you really want to hear it, you got to seek out the guitar virtuosos.
Yes,
that play Malagueña.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's some really
of
good.
them are phenomenal.
Roy Clark, I think there's
Roy
one
Clark
of Roy
had
Clark
a phenomenal version of it. He was very, very talented. There's a Greek fellow whose name I cannot remember right now who's on YouTube with it. Unbelievable.
Yep.
It's one of those. It's one of those things that just you get absorbed into it when you're listening to it.
You do, and if you watch their hands, you just think,
how do
they go that fast?
Yeah,
it's really quite amazing. Really quite amazing.
So
it's easier to do when you have lots of people on different instruments that they get to play all the parts.
Yeah.
But no, they'll tell you it's not that easy. But
it's a tough piece.
It is. It's a fun piece. And then we go with, I think, some really recognizable music from James Bond.
Everything is recognizable from Bond.
Yeah.
Bondy.
Yeah. So it has a lot of the really popular movie titles: Goldfinger, Live and Let Die, Skyfall. There's a couple more.
Is that a medley arranged for?
Yeah, it's a medley. It's several of them. What is so amazing about all the Bond movies is how they always continuously weave the original tune.
Isn't that funny?
Into all of the songs that get made for each movie.
Goldfinger.
That's a great one. And played by a wonderful English horn player in our group. Gets to play the solo in the Goldfinger tune, which is a lot of fun. And then we're going to finish up with a march. Because
you got to have one of those.
You got to have a march on every concert. But this time, I didn't go with a Sousa march.
Uh-oh.
I went with a Carl King march. And it's his most favorite, which is Barnum and Bailey, or his most well-known, which is Barnum and Bailey's favorite. He got his start as a circus performer. That's what he did for 8 or 9 years when he first left home. And he really, the Barnum and Bailey's favorite is really a circus-style march. It's fast, it's loud, it's upbeat. It's everything that you would want in a march.
That sounds pretty exciting, actually.
It is. A good, exciting way to end the concert.
So, we tend to forget marches were very big in circuses, weren't they?
They were, and that's really a lot of the music they played in circus bands were marches because they were upbeat. They helped the performers keep moving and, keep the tempo and of their acts and keep everything moving at a fast pace. They were also used for communication purposes. If there was a problem, there were certain marches that they played.
Really?
Yeah, the march for Everybody Needs to Get Out Because There's a Fire was Stars and Stripes.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding. If the circus bands played Stars and Stripes, the performers knew you got to clear out, you got to get the audience out because something's on fire and you need to get everybody out. So you wouldn't hear that one under happy circumstances at the
That
circus.
last one's out with the band members.
Yeah. No, I think they played a little bit of it, and then they got out of there too.
I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get
No
out.
kidding. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Stars and Stripes is a get out of town music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is funny. Cost to get in?
So the cost is $10 per person.
Outrageous.
If I still think we're pretty affordable
I
when
think
you
are, yeah.
when you compare it to other things. Kids in 6th grade and under are free of charge. We want kids to come. We want kids there. It's okay if they're a little squirrely. We don't mind. You know, we're going to play and they're going to get exposed to the music, and that's what's really important for that. There are also some discounted rates for school groups. If a director wants to bring a group of kids, there are discounted rates available. They can see our website, bayconcertband.com, for information about that.
So, describe a concert band as opposed to any other type of orchestral or band group.
So a concert band has woodwinds like flute, clarinet, oboe, saxophone, bassoon.
Yeah, I always objected to flutes being included in woodwinds, but
I know. Well, they're sort of their own.
they're on their
animal.
own. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. And then we have brass instruments. So we have the trumpet, the horn, the trombone, the euphonium, which is a lot of times called a baritone, and the tuba. And then we have percussion instruments. And that includes battery instruments like the snare drum and bass drum, and then keyboard-style percussion instruments like marimbas, xylophones, bells, and the timpani, or kettle drums, as they have been called sometimes in the past.
Basically, what's missing are all the strings.
Correct. Yeah,
Do you ever include guitars, though, in the band?
you can sometimes. There are pieces that have guitar. Sometimes there are string bass parts or even electric bass parts. Occasionally there are piano parts in a piece, not as a solo, but as an actual
Member of the band.
So that does happen. But we don't typically have any string players in a band. They have the orchestra, so we take the wind players from the orchestra and we expand their numbers, and that's how we come up with the concert band.
And we'll take a break talking to Nathan Snyder. He is the musical director, conductor of the Bay Concert Band. 21st of this month, they have their first season concert. We'll be telling you more about it as we go on.
At Saginaw Township Community
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show on this Friday morning, talking to Nathan Snyder from the Bay Concert Band. And so, Nathan, how many musicians in the band on average? Oops.
Well, we are around, we vacillate between about, I'd say, 65 to 75 musicians. It depends on, not everybody can play every concert, but I'd say right now that's about where we are.
Where do you get them all from?
Well, I think a majority of them do come from Bay City, but there are people who drive. I know some folks who drive from closer to the Thumb, who drive from up north, some folks who come from Midland and Saginaw. So we do draw from all over the mid part of the state and even beyond.
It's comparable to the Eddie Band. The Eddie Band does the same thing.
Yeah, they do. That's right.
They get a lot of CMU players, too.
They do. We don't. CMU is probably a little far for people to drive, for the students to drive out to come and play on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's right. You do it on a Tuesday. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they do it on a Saturday usually.
Yeah, exactly.
So the musicians that come from all walks of life. They're not all professional musicians, right?
That's correct. We do have some retired band directors who play in the group, and even some current band directors. But we also have people who just play for the love of music. They have other jobs. We have lawyers, we have teachers, we have healthcare professionals, we have business people, but they just want to keep their love of music alive, and that's why they're there. And as I've said many times on this show, and I've told the people in the band and my friends, I really think community music is very special. I was at a rehearsal last night with a different community group, and the conductor of that group was talking, and he pointed out one of our tuba players who yesterday was his 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Mike. And the conductor said, I met this guy like 20 or so years ago as a kid right out of high school in a community group, and he's the reason that I stuck with it. He's the reason I kept going and doing community groups. And Mike's been doing community bands for 60 years. He's been playing in the Bay Concert Band and the Midland Concert Band, and it's people like that you look up to because they keep going with it, even though it's not their career. They keep that love of music alive, and they keep it going in the community.
Gee, let's see. In regionalization, how can we get the Bay, Midland, and any band together on one mass concert?
That would be really fun. That would be a big band.
That would
Holy
be a
moly.
big band.
It'd
Yes,
be like
it would.
150 people.
Oh, it'd
probably.
be great. That'd be absolutely
You have to
wonderful.
find a huge stage to fit all those people.
So
on.
what's the Nathan Snyder story?
My story? Well, I was one of those kids that fell in love with music from the first time I touched an instrument in 5th grade.
Which was what kind?
The clarinet.
Ah,
The
that's
old
right. I
licorice
forgot
stick.
you're one of me.
That's right. You and I are brothers of the clarinet. And it was the thing that I loved all through school. It was where I made all my friends. It was the place that I felt safe and loved and accepted. And that's what was really important to me about the band. And I just loved playing. And when I got into conducting as I got to college,
Did you study music in college?
I did study music in college. I have a music education degree from Susquehanna University in Pennsylvania, small school in central Pennsylvania. Originally, my goal was I was going to actually become a college band director. That did not happen to pan out, but I got involved in community music. And I came to it a little later than, it depends. Some people come to it really early. They come right out of high school. Some people, they leave high school, they don't touch their instrument for 20 years, and then they say, I want to play again, sometimes 50. And they say, I want to play again. I came to it after college when I was in my mid-20s, and I just really fell in love with it because it was a place where you could meet people from all walks of life, like we said, and keep that love of music alive in the community. And I got into directing community bands, and I still continue to play in community bands and community orchestras. I think it's important for me to stay involved that way, too.
How long have you had the Bay Concert Band?
This is my third full season. I started in January of 2022. So when I get done with this season, it'll be 3.5 years with the group, but this is my third full season with them.
All right, we're going to take our last break, come back and finish up our discussion, and we'll remind you of their first concert coming up October 21st as we talk to Nathan Snyder from the Bay Concert Band. And we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, in studio with me, Nathan Snyder from the Bay Concert Band, whose first concert of the season comes up October 21st. That is a Tuesday. Why Tuesdays?
So we do Tuesdays in the fall and the spring because it's a little less congested than trying to do the weekends. We do have to work with the school on finding dates that are available that they don't have things going on. So we kind of do a courtesy by keeping 2 of the Sundays clear so that the school can use the auditorium for whatever else they need to. So plus, in the fall and in the spring, the weather's usually a little bit better, so an evening concert on a Tuesday is not quite so bad. In the winter time for the Christmas concert and the winter concert, we do them on a Sunday afternoon when it's sunny out. So
Yeah, hopefully.
hopefully, yeah, exactly.
So it's 7:30 on the October 21st date, which is a Tuesday.
That's correct.
And tell everybody again where it is.
We will be at Bay City Central Auditorium, so at the high school and the auditorium. They can park right on Columbus Avenue and come in that way, and we'll have a ticket table set up, and they can either pay with cash or credit card. We finally made our way into the 21st century, and we do accept credit cards now. If you want to get your tickets ahead of time and skip the line, you can purchase them at Herder Music downtown. They do have some tickets there, and they'd be happy to sell them to you if you want to skip the line and just come right into the auditorium when you get there.
Is music, the cost of getting involved in music, getting to be prohibitive? Or is it still fairly reasonable?
Well, I think it depends. People who come to the band typically already own their instrument. It's
Right.
one that they had when they were in school. So, for them, the cost associated with it is just any supplies that they might need, making sure the instrument stays in good working order. Otherwise, the band handles the cost of everything. We take care of the music and all that kind of stuff. So
It is interesting to me. Musical instruments are one of the most lasting devices you can buy. My clarinet that I have, I've had two over the years, but when I got rid of one of them, I kept my original clarinet, which I think was a Concord Cadet or something like that.
okay.
I still have it. I had it repadded, and it plays like it was new. Now, I don't play like it was new, but it plays like it, they last forever if you take care of them.
They really do. And I might have shared this story with you before. My daughter, who is a senior in high school, she's in the band, but the instrument that she started on in 5th grade and that she still plays in the marching band when they're outside is my original clarinet from 5th grade. My old plastic Bundy. I had a Bundy when I started in 5th grade. So so it's nice. I got it redone for her when she started, and I was able to pass that on to her. And she now plays on a nicer instrument when they're in concert band. But it's lasted since 1985, so it's 40 years old at this point and still
Mine's
working.
a lot older than that.
So yeah, like you said, if you take good care of it, they will last you, and you can play them for a really long time.
I was a frustrated drummer. I wanted to play drums, but living in a New York City apartment complex, my parents didn't think that was a good idea.
It's really funny how much you and I have in common, because I also wanted to play the drums.
Is that right, really?
And my mother said to me, "We live in an apartment. There is no way I'm letting you play the drums and drive off all of the neighbors."
And I don't know if you're like me, but if I get into a situation, I mentioned, for example, the Miami Sound Machine, and they're beating, and I watched something on YouTube the other night, and I found myself sitting at my TV table going,
Yep. All the time in the car. We're driving somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm drumming on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
My family's like, "Dad, please stop."
yeah. And I have two sons that are drummers.
Yeah, yeah.
We had the battle of Gretchen Yamaha in the basement. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe not for you.
Oh. Anyway, okay, October 21st, and again, it's the Bay Concert Band 49th season.
49th season.
Can't wait to see how you celebrate 50.
It's going to be big.
All right. Nathan, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Art. I appreciate it.
Nathan Snyder from the Bay Concert Band, and we'll be back to close out.
My name is Kim Harris.
All right, that'll do it for this first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we're going to get some predictions from you on the Tigers and the Lions. A couple of big games coming up, one today and one on Sunday evening. All of that is ahead after the news from CBS, the National and International Report. Michael Percha brings you up to date on the region and the state. And then we will be back with more conversation for you on the Art Lewis Show. Stick around and we'll talk to you right after the news.
Broadcasting from the